Hi guys, this is Yelena from Amazonia PPC, and today I wanted to share my views on the latest US announcements that Amazon did with regards to the inventory management. Basically, what they said is that the latest IPI score threshold is going to be 500. So sellers below threshold 500 will be subject to limits effective August 16, 2020. They don't mention what limits we will be subject to, so they owe us an explanation there. And then second thing that they mentioned is quantity limits. So on an ASIN level, quantity limits will be introduced for products in FBA. And they say most products will have enough space available for over 3 months of sales, and they don't mention which ones won't have it, which is crazy. And free removals promotion, meaning that you can create a removal order without paying any extra fees to do that, and they will uh, allow it starting from July the 14th. So as you see, it's been going on for a couple of days now, and I made a video a couple of days ago last week about preparations for Q4, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to have your inventory management figured out and in place, and make sure you do it right, because that's going to be pretty big this year. Amazon is obviously now giving advantage to sellers who can provide consistency in sales like they always basically did. It's not a new thing. They just keep pushing it forward more and more. So this is going to be a change that doesn't really suit smaller sellers, the ones that are just starting to do their first PL product, for example, and all of that. And one of the ways how people are going to deal with that is resorting to FBM, simply because it could possibly be a cheaper option for them. If they don't haven't scaled their account too much, and it makes more sense for them to just like use FBM instead of FBA, switch to FBM. And one of the other ways how people are going to deal with this is trying to fix their IPI scores, even though that doesn't mean they won't be subject to quantity limits. So basically, what they're telling you here is that you can still be introduced ASIN level quantity limits on some products from your portfolio, even if your IPI score is 500. They basically don't mention any correlation between these two things. So how do you fix your IPI scores? It's a thing that will not always depend on you, and it will not be always something that's 100% in your control. But there are things that you could possibly do to fix it, to improve it at least for a couple of points. And every point will matter in Q4 because the greatest sales velocity is there during that time. So I'm just going to quickly run down all these top influencing factors that they mentioned. Of course, excess inventory. We have a lot of sellers that whose products weren't super relevant in the lockdown economy. So their worst nightmare was that they lost sales, and they were forced to either decrease the prices of their products just to get rid of the stock, or just play a waiting game to see if something will change, if the lockdown will be lifted or something like that will happen. So people who are dealing with excess inventory for that part of the portfolio that isn't super relevant in the lockdown economy, one of the best recommendations we could make is to make a removal order and funnel this inventory through some other platforms who possibly are charging you less fees. Also, excess inventory could be solved through trying to target different types of keywords, see if your product could possibly be repurposed for something else in the lockdown economy. Meaning, if your product was used exclusively indoors, you can come up exclusively outdoors. You can come up with different ways how you could use it indoors now in the new lockdown economy, or maybe target different keywords for multiple usages of products. Then moving forward, your product research process, one part of it should definitely be trying to figure out, is this product going to be usable in the lockdown economy or not, whether it even matters or it doesn't. So that's something to contemplate when you work with excess inventory. Now is the time to make removal orders if you have something that's aged, that you don't see a huge future in selling through of it. Just return it home and see what you will do with it. When it comes to the inventory that does sell but doesn't have a major sell-through potential, meaning doesn't have a lot of sales velocity, then in the sell-through category of the inventory performance index, one of the best things you could do is improve conversion rates. And there are many, many ways how you can do that. Conversion rates in Amazon, performance by ASIN report in the business reports, it's called unit session percentage. You can fix unit session percentage or conversion rate through improving the listings quality, of course, through high quality copywriting, through imagery. Adding video is pretty big for this year in your either in your product images and videos, either through your advertising. Also, sell through could be improved, of course, through pricing. If you lower the price a little bit and you're selling in a category where some of your shoppers are value shoppers, or maybe pricing makes a change, then decrease the price, and then maybe also improve your conversion rates by bidding on your own products through product targeting. You target your own products, you show up on your own product detail page to make sure that no one else is stealing that market share away from you. Also, provide a clear branded experience on your listing to make sure that your customers have uh, become loyal customers in the future if part of your business model is repeat purchases, is based on repeat purchases and customer loyalty. So there are different ways how you can improve your conversion rate, but you need to continuously test and see which things work, which works, what works and what doesn't. But generally, when it comes to sell-through metric in Amazon, one of the things that are most important is pricing. And Amazon is generally perceived as a marketplace for value shoppers. That's how it's been positioned since it began, and they're working on improving uh, that stigma around them, I guess. But right now, still, if there's a Prime Day going on, or you're in the midst of Boxing Day or Hanukkah, all these big days in Q4, huge majority of customers that are saving up for that period will get let loose on their wallets if you give them a good enough offer. Just make sure you pack it up, wrap it up into something that makes sense, right? If one of your best, if you have a bestseller that deals with bad sell, obviously you're not going to have a bestseller that deals with sell through issues. But some of the products that are dealing with sell through for some reason, they could be introduced at some. If it's a good product, they could be introduced at the top of the funnel, meaning a product that you give out on a certain discount to introduce your products to the new customers, for example, and make sure that they purchase again from you. So sell through is mostly oriented around conversion rates and fixing them on the listing. So more work needs to be done on the listing and creating an irresistible offer through copywriting, through pricing, through perception around your product and its functionalities to make sure it sells through. Stranded inventory, you fix that by either recreating the listing for that inventory that's stranded, or creating a removal order. So it's an easy thing to fix, and most of the sellers aren't failing at stranded inventory. It's just something that requires relevancy, staying up to date, and being diligent about it, basically. And that's something you can easily fix. Um, In-stock inventory is something that, unlike excess inventory, if you lack inventory, dealing with stockouts, especially for your bestsellers, this could be a serious problem. Most serious problems are excess inventory and in-stock inventory. And when it comes to in-stock, if you're dealing with stockouts, it's just better to either reserve some kind of third-party provider for some small quantities so that you can patch up. If you stay out of stock, it's better to be out of stock for 10 days than for 30, 40 days until your huge batch arrives and resells again, right? Um, what I mean by that, you should be a little bit smarter when it comes to shipments and organizing all of this with your suppliers from whether you're sourcing from China or India, it doesn't matter. Um, I mean, it does matter, but it varies. Um, so make sure that you have a plan that's like combined between, it's a combination between smaller batches and bigger batches. For smaller batches, they should be there in your third party provider warehouse somewhere, ready to ship out quickly in the USA. To the Amazon's warehouse, where you can like pay some smaller fees for smaller quantities. It's not something that every third party provider will be happy to do, but you should bruise up your negotiation skills and try to make it happen for you. And then bigger batches are the ones that you ship out through uh, ships, basically the cheapest way you can. And bigger batches, just start ordering bigger batches because um, the sellers who will ensure consistency will be the ones who win on the Amazon marketplace. And basically, that's what they have confirmed with these changes that they announced. And people are complaining about that. But the thing is that 2 years ago, IPI index threshold was 350. Now it's 500. That means that selling on Amazon is going to be a science. And at the same time, to sum it up, that also means that less people will be compelled to do it. So the ones that stay will pick up the biggest pieces. So that's the kind of scenario we're hoping for everyone. And basically, the takeaways from this video are to make sure that you at least either keep small stock in 3PL warehouse, either make sure you can pay for it for an airway shipment that will arrive faster, but ensure that there's a plan B in the work that will ensure that if you have to stay out of stock, that it's not over a longer time period, that you don't entirely sacrifice your rankings and especially for your bestsellers. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out, and hopefully that there's going to be a successful Q4. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them below. Bye bye.